don't really care that much.
Crate digging is the practice of looking for rare or unusual music. Usually is, digging in the crates classically is records. So you're looking for records that's obscure that other people haven't gotten to yet.
One record that I'm actually very proud of grabbing was Carlo Bass's Funky Drummer series. I have all volumes.
Crate digging got its roots from going to record stores or yard sales, anywhere that you could find old used things like that, and find records, looking for unique, different sounds, maybe old sounds that have been forgotten, and then using them to sample into new music and using it to innovate new songs.
I find a record store, or like even a thrift store that I've never been to, extraordinarily exciting. Just a bin of records is so much potential, just sounds, and if you know that like you've probably never heard any of the artists in that particular record bin, or if it's very old or very unusual to you, that's awesome. That's stuff that probably other people have not heard as well, and there's probably something really good in there that you could use in your own piece.
Ultimately, it comes down to obtaining a piece of music, whether it's something you're intentionally looking for or something that just piques your interest, and you take a chance on it.
Like it or not, sampling and remixing have become a part of our musical culture. It's it's commonplace. It's the norm.
I'd say crate digging it. Maybe a lost art that's starting to come back because, I don't know, I guess people trying to get that lo-fi sound again, and I guess just like changing taste of like music and I know what people are looking for.
And it went from, a couple of hip-hop songs were sneaking into the top 20 to Paid in Full being the #1 song. And it's a great song, but it was also had that beat.
Every record collection is different, and every record collecting experience is different. So, your individual likes and just little things that set off your fascination or your imagination can take place in your set, and your live performance can be an exhibition of everything that you love and care about.
Yeah, no, crate digging is not just about music actually, but just finding tangible pieces of inspiration.
I don't think that anything is sacred. I don't believe anything is sacred. In any art form, nothing should be sacred.
It's important because it's sort of, producers who make electronic music, hip-hop music, like that practice is sort of what feeds, being able to make new music or weird-sounding music is sort of like a curiosity and looking for like just obscure sounds, different sounds.
It's very important. It's all the thrill and the fun of doing it. The thrill of meeting people and then finding that one record that you were looking for this longest time. It's definitely very important.
Well, I mean, there's a classic stigma of laziness on originality. It is technically lazier or easier to sample another record than to write that material originally yourself. I guess that's true, but that doesn't mean that there's no artistic merit to sampling, or that sampling is done because it's lazy. It's done as an act of tribute to show your fandom to the original material. As the remixer, you love the original material and you're trying to reintroduce it to a new audience. You're trying to express your enthusiasm for the subject material. You're not trying to steal from it. You're trying to share it with brand new audience who may have never heard it before.
I think it's important because it's something that's instilled with like the history of hip hop and like kind of DJ culture and everything like that. So I guess it's an important piece of like history in terms of sampling and audio production and music, modern music at least.
trends like this affect our pop culture, they affect our musical culture. This is how we've been making hip-hop music, dance music. It's how we still make it. But there's taboos attached to it, and there's parts of it that people don't even understand or think about. So
You know, my Roger Troutman.
Yeah.
I had the honor, I guess you could say, of having to explain to him why the band EPMD's song "You Gots to Chill" sounds so much like his song "More Bounce to the Ounce." And it's like, well, they sampled your song, and he's so old school, and he was like, well, what does that exactly mean? So we had this great long conversation about it, and I just, like I said, kind of honored to actually explain to this artist what had actually taken place technologically that he was unaware of.
Crate digging is super important to anything that has to do with non-traditional music, because without crate digging, electronic music wouldn't be what it is. Hip hop wouldn't be what it is without that 13 minutes Rapper's Delight, just that one bit that's played over and over and over again that's been sampled. So it's super important to the evolution of our urban culture and the music that is involved with it.
And like I said, it's a legacy, really, at this point. I mean, we're so far beyond when these records were recorded now.
Yeah.
And it applies to the internet era, I'd say, and having that same mentality of digging and being on the lookout for rare, weird stuff definitely applies to being online and collecting media that way too.
Actually, there was an instant where I was looking for a certain acapella that I wanted to use on my new mixtape, and it wasn't anywhere on any US websites, blog sites I knew, any of that. I had to go to a Japanese website where they were streaming it on, and I didn't know, they didn't have no download button or anything, but I was able to actually rip it from the site without having to actually record it playing the whole time. So
as we share knowledge through the internet, we understand better the need for preservation, the need for not completely letting go of practices that involve social activity. So I don't see vinyl, crate digging, even CDs and cassettes disappearing, to be honest, just because as the more forward we go in with our technology and our knowledge, the more that we do value what's in our past.
Well, vinyl in itself has exploded within the past couple of years, so was something before that was kind of going out of the mainstream, and now it seems to be coming back in. So I see a big future for it.
Beginning to really change what music can really be.
The advice is to get around and listen as much as you can. Listen to as much as you can. Now we're talking about a musical legacy dating back to 1967. I don't need to do the math. How many years ago is that? That's 50 years ago, give or take, right?
And I've never been to Japan, I've never been to Brazil, but I can go online and buy records from them if I so choose to now.